Good morning, friends. Welcome to Here I Stand. This is the second part, the abortion cult. James Pittman addressed part one. So this is a follow-up on some of what he was sharing. So I'm Pastor Calvin Lindstrom. Happy to be joined by Pastor James Pittman. James, I'm on the beach today for this interview. You look like you got locked up. Looked like, but
I see that.
Anyway, so James, you came up with this topic. I think it's an excellent one. What we would call and it's a sad topic.
It's a very sad
abortion cult. So we're going to talk about what's going on and why. Let's go through some of this madness. Let me just share a couple things from Twitter here, just to show how much they're ramping this up. This is Pritzker and Lightfoot. Pritzker, I think every other tweet by Pritzker now is about abortion. His personal account and his official, I guess, his gubernatorial account. So I will continue to stand firm in the face of attacks on Roe v. Wade. I was proud to stand with providers, not abortionists, providers. Our women are under siege. The world is watching. And then Lori Lightfoot, triple threat, a safe haven for abortion. I thought she also used the term oasis.
Yes, she did. She did.
So safe haven and oasis.
The irony in that, and they don't realize the irony in that.
Yeah. Oh, it is. I know it is.
Haven to murder. Wow.
Yeah. It is. So, James, let me ask you this. Pritzker and Lightfoot, we knew where they stood. That's not new. What do you think is new in terms of the... Why did you call this the abortion cult? Why was that your suggested topic?
It's because the devotion to it is new, Calvin. And what's new about it is we'll have a clip here. Back in the 92, Bill Clinton was running against then George Bush, the first one, right? Mm-hmm. And his famous line on abortion: safe, legal, and rare.
Yeah.
Right. They recognized it was not something that was good. It was a necessary evil, and we'll see that in the clip coming up here. Now it's something to be celebrated.
Yeah.
Before, something that was gruesome, yes. Unfortunate, yes. And that's what they ran on. That's the way it used to be. Now it's to be celebrated.
Yeah.
And it's really disturbing when you think about it. People celebrating the taking of the life of a baby. I mean, it has changed, and now it's all in all. It is all encompassing. It's their holy grail. A
sacrament of sort.
Yeah.
Right? Even if we could use that language.
It is. It's just, and so I think they're terrified because of this Roe v. Wade possible overturn, because now they have to defend it. Now they have to talk about it. And now all the science, Calvin, even since the 80s, the science has been exponentially increased to the point to where you're not arguing anymore. It's a baby.
Do you know that the new term that they seem to have picked up on, bodily autonomy? It sounds scientific, and yet I think for a lot of people, what does that mean? It's like a 50-cent word to justify. They can't deny it's a life.
Yep.
All they can do is try to justify, we have this right.
Yep.
We should have the power as the autonomous individual to do whatever we want. I think Putin maybe believes in bodily autonomy too. You know, I mean,
But even in their argument, and again, they have to deal with this. If it's body autonomy, what you're literally saying is your autonomy, not the body of the baby. The baby doesn't have body autonomy.
Oh, no, yeah.
Only you have body autonomy.
Yeah.
But would that extend to the baby? Of course not.
Right.
And again, they have to make these arguments. Now, if Roe v. Wade goes down, now you have to talk about it. And Calvin, they have no arguments. It is a blind faith to an evil practice, and that's why they're so afraid.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you show some of the clips you have there, James?
Yeah, and so again, they have no arguments. It's just all about raw emotion, and they can't really articulate what they believe and why they believe. So here's a clip right here on the Fox channel, the 5, when Greg Gutfeld is actually trying to give his reasoning, which we do have for pro-life. Geraldo Rivera, again, he doesn't have any arguments. He just has raw, naked emotion. Here it is.
Crazy, now that I'm on my soapbox, is it used to be even the pro-choicers would admit that abortion was an ugly thing, but they felt it had to be a necessary evil. Something that would be safe and rare. That was the argument you always heard.
Yeah.
But now when you go anywhere on social media, it's something to celebrate, to cherish, right? The unborn, to shout.
That's baloney.
No, well,
that's baloney.
I'll give you
Cherish
evidence.
the wire hanger stuck up their private stuff, trying to get what?
The unborn child.
Come on, that's
the unborn child becomes
before Roe.
This is exactly what I expected. So you bring out the old
You
coat
are
hanger.
arrogant.
Go for it, Geraldo. Come on, keep going.
Okay, Joey,
You're making a fool of yourself.
on this.
Don't you? You know something?
What?
You insulting punk.
Okay.
Oh, what? Am I your new
Joey,
Bongino?
No,
If
you want that role.
You've sat here so patiently.
So there you have it. I mean, there's no arguments. There's no argument.
No, not at all.
There's no argument. And go ahead. Make your argument. He can't.
Mm-hmm.
He can go back to some wire hanging out of private part. I mean, it's just.
No.
It's, and that's what they're afraid of. They don't want it to be an issue. They do not want it to be something prominent in politics because they can't.
Mm-hmm.
You can use all the 50 cent words you want, body autonomy, whatever. It's a life, and you're taking it. And let me say this too. I mean, my goodness, if someone claims to be a Christian minister and he can't be clear on this issue, oh man, leave the ministry, please.
No, exactly. James, I think you had another video you wanted to show there.
So again, when they try to make the arguments, look at Stacey Abrams and the argument she makes. She's going to make the argument that it is a moral issue. And the moral issue is literally the moral issue, the moral Christian issue is that a woman should be allowed to kill her baby. Not the murder of the baby, not the taking the life of a baby, but that she should have the choice to kill her baby. And somehow this is the great moral issue in abortion. It is so obscene, so crazy. Again, here it is. I mean, their arguments are just laughable.
This is not a conversation for politicians. This is a conversation between a doctor and a pregnant person, a pregnant woman, to have the conversation with her doctor and her family about what makes sense. I don't even say I evolved. I call myself a converted. I come to this with the zeal of the converted because I understand the concerns that people have. But Martin Luther King Jr. once said that he cannot segregate his moral concerns. You cannot believe that it is okay to steal the ability of women to have bodily autonomy and say that you believe in human and civil rights. I cannot do that. And as governor, I will not do that.
Human civil rights. And the issue she picks is the right for a woman to take the life of the baby. That's the human civil right, not the saving of the life of the baby. No, that's not a civil rights issue. Life of the baby, that's not the civil rights issue. The civil rights issue is that a woman should have the right to kill the baby. I mean, their moral compass is broken.
Notice she wasn't sure whether to call it a woman or a pregnant person.
Exactly.
Not sure of the language.
Exactly.
And notice how you called this the abortion cult.
Yep.
she uses religious language. She has the zeal of the convert. That's we're not making this up, right? This is let me share with you. This is Senator Duckworth is going to be tough to beat, but this is Mother's Day, May 8th. I know what many of us moms are feeling. We're exhausted, struggling to hold it all together for our families, and now the right to choose hangs in the balance. Mom to mom, I see you. How dare anyone think they know what's best for us? They don't. Moms, I know we're tired, but this Mother's Day, I urge you to turn your frustration into action, make your voices heard, and tell Congress that if they really want to honor moms today, they should start not by buying flowers or cards, but by protecting our basic human rights.
The human right again is the right to take the right to take the life of your child.
Yeah. So on Mother's Day, I mean, this is
on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
She's advocating for the right of the mother to take the life of the child on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And Calvin, they can't see how ludicrous they sound.
Right.
That's why it's a cult.
Right.
That's why it's a prop. They can't even see how foolish they sound.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just gonna. Illinois is not a pro-life state, right, James? Our statewide politicians. But I am going to say this: if you hope to maybe awake people to what's going on, whoever is going to run against Duckworth for Senate, you're going to have to make this an issue.
Have to be front and center.
I think you're going to have to show this is the radical nature of who our current elected United States Senator is. If you go half-hearted, then you know what, you might, I think that's your only chance, is really to try to push some of these moral issues and awaken people to see what's going on. If you try to hide it, I think it's a guaranteed loss, in my opinion.
Guaranteed loss. You've got to invigorate the people that actually come out. And listen, I'm going to say something that people may not necessarily agree with, and I've said this before, and I'll continue to hold to it. I think the Tea Party was detrimental to this country. Mm-hmm. The Tea Party was an attempt to redefine the right without the moral issues. Mm-hmm. And in talking strictly about the economical issues, they left the moral issues behind.
I think you're right, James.
And that gave rise to John McCain and Mitt Romney. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened. So you took these moral issues and you put them on the back burner. Mm-hmm. And economics. Meanwhile, abortion continued to rampage. And what did you get since the Tea Party? Gay marriage and transgenderism, because you left the moral issues behind. Mm-hmm. It's just and thankful at this point now they're coming back to the forefront, but you let it hibernate for over 10 years, and now that monster has grown.
Yeah.
But hopefully, if they overturn Roe v. Wade, now it will be a political issue that you have to deal with again. And just let them keep making the obscene, foolish issues, how a mother has the right to take the life of her child. Go ahead and let that be an issue. And if America swallows those arguments, then America needs to be judged, simply put.
Well, James, I can't fault you for that. If we do not speak with a moral clarity, then what do we have to offer in any degree, right? No. We don't. That's that. No, I can't think of. Yeah. Well, James, there's a lot more that we could share on this. What other thoughts come to mind as you think about what is going on with this issue?
Well, it's just beginning. I mean, this issue is just a tipping point. Now, because of this issue, they are openly, without shame, trying to intimidate Supreme Court justices. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're letting it go.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin, if the worst thing that could happen now is the 5 that seemingly in this draft, that the 5 Supreme Court justices that were going to vote to overturn Roe v. Wade, if they cave, we now have Banana Republic.
Yeah.
It's a banana republic at this point. And if they cave and they change, and this is allowed to continue, Calvin, we're done. I mean, we won't recover. This is Venezuela. We're Venezuela. 10 years ago? When was Chavez? 15 years ago, Calvin?
Yeah, 10, 15 years ago. Now, let me ask you this. Eventually, the election is not until, obviously, November, the general election. This would have been released sometime in June. What were the Democrats wanting to just move up and try to distract from economy or other matters? Do you think that's why this was leaked, to get motivation? Because some states actually are now having primaries. Illinois' primary is not until in June. Do they want to leak it early just to try to change the narrative? Do you think?
I don't know what their strategy is, but if that's their strategy, then you're talking about out of the frying pan into the fire, out of the frying pan into the fire. So let's not talk about the horrible economic news and the fact that you have a dementia patient who's the president of the United States of America. Let's now switch the argument to something more favorable. Oh, let's start now making the argument on Mother's Day that a mother should have a right to kill her child. Really? Is that what you want to switch to? And if that's all they have, Calvin, then the Democrat Party, boy, if that's all they have in their cupboard.
Now, do you think, just politically, do you think the Democrats will pick up votes with this issue?
No. Joe Manchin said it perfectly when he sided with the Republicans. They shut it down, right? Joe Manchin said he's listening to the people. The people don't want this. What does he mean? The people don't want more abortion. They don't want more abortion. They want. Calvin, it's pretty hard to ignore the realities once you see the whole Abby Johnson story. I mean, Calvin, I think if more people were forced to watch actual abortions, this issue would be over with in a matter of weeks. I remember when I first saw my first abortion years ago, Calvin, I can't stomach it. I can't look at it. I mean, when the whole Abby Johnson story happened, I had to turn my head in the movie. It is sickening to me to see the murder on ultrasound. And in the movie, when Abby Johnson saw that so shook her to her core. She went from being a rising star in the Planned Parenthood company to its most fiercest opponent. And so, really, you really want that? Okay, fine. Make that argument if you want.
Does the base, because I think the Democrats, they are concerned about their base.
Calvin, I can tell you most of my family, most of African Americans know it's a baby. I can tell you most of the Hispanic community know it's a child. You can call it a fetus all you want. Calvin, I think most people deep down, even the most fiercest of Planned Parenthood advocates, they know it's a baby. And so once again, is that the argument you want, to promote the lie that it's not a baby when everybody knows it is?
Well, that's why I say they're using the language of bodily autonomy. At least some are, as the talking point. To hide the fact that
it's a baby. I don't think it'll work. Calvin, I think that's why they're panicked. I think that is the nature of their panic. Is because if Roe v. Wade goes down, now it's going to go on a lot of ballots in the states. Now you got to campaign on it, and now make the argument with all the science, with all the ultrasounds. Once again, make the argument that it's not a child, and then explain to me again why it's illegal. If bald eagles are protected species, why is it illegal to kill the eggs of bald eagles? They're not eagles, they're eggs. No, there are eagles in there. I mean, we can go down the list. They know it's a baby, Calvin. They know it.
The leading politicians in Illinois think it is a talking point for their victory.
For their advantage, the Democrats? Okay. Good luck.
Yeah, and in your opinion, is Illinois just stand out because of how radical we are?
And even, again, I don't know. Listen, I don't know where Illinois stands because the dead people keep voting. We don't really know where Illinois stands, right? But in other states, go ahead and make that argument in Florida. Make it in Pennsylvania and in Wisconsin. Make
Texas.
that argument in the Carolinas. Make it in Arizona. Make it in New Mexico, Nevada. Keep telling people what they know is a lie, that it's not a baby in the womb. Go ahead. Go ahead. And all the swing, make that argument in Ohio, Kelvin. Go ahead. Make the argument. People know it's a baby. And that's why they're afraid.
It'll be interesting in another week or two, James. This will be just something to consider. In a week or two, will they change some of their tune on this? They've gotten out their, crazy Elizabeth Warren. Yeah. Will they simmer down when polls indicate, oh, that's not a winning issue for you? I don't know. I'm just wondering.
It's a cult, Calvin.
Well, I know. When you're in a cult, you know what? You serve to death.
Yes.
Literally. No, I know. Yeah, that's so. It'll be interesting to see politically if there's some shift.
Not to mention, Kelvin, we're assuming it was a Supreme Court justice clerk. We're assuming that. What if it's an associate themselves?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or that they had knowledge, or that they were the genesis of this leak. Then what? Then you blew up the Supreme Court.
I wanted to say 70 people. I thought that was the number I heard. 70 people would have had access.
You think 70 people? Well, can we take out the people, the 5 Supreme Court, the 5 associates that are voting to overturn it?
Sure.
They don't gain from that, right?
No.
Then that significantly lessens the pool that you focus on.
Right.
Calvin, they know. I agree with Dinesh D'Souza. They know who it is.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
You're telling me they don't know at this point? They know.
Will they release the information about who leaked it?
See, here's my thing. Calvin, I think it's easy to sacrifice a clerk. It's easy to sacrifice a clerk.
Oh, sure.
If you have a justice, though, and everyone's saying from Dershowitz to all, the person who did this should be disbarred. I'm starting to think now it's not a clerk.
Maybe.
That's why they're afraid to do it.
Yeah, maybe so. You might be right.
They know.
Yeah.
Have you seen Sotomayor? She's not. Kagan? They're not. They're cult members.
Oh, no, they are.
They're cult members.
Yeah.
And to think that they have some sort of moral fiber in them that they wouldn't do this, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I think it's easy to sacrifice a clerk. The longer this goes, makes me believe it wasn't a clerk. Or even if it was a clerk, they can have strong ties that the genesis of it was a justice.
Well, didn't Obama lose his law license in Illinois?
Did he? I know Clinton lost his.
Okay.
I don't remember a
So I guess the point is for whoever if they put under the bus a clerk, they'll just say, hey, you can still be president. Your law license isn't gonna keep you from that. But
if it's a justice, you got problems now.
Yeah. Okay. No, we'll stay keep in tune on that. So, well, friends, this is gonna be my final word. As vigorous as we see, and as unhinged as we see the forces on the left, we're in a battle, right? And this is not the time to back down from the spiritual battle. To fight, obviously, with the weapons of our warfare are not fleshly weapons, but this is no time to cower back, but to seek the advancement of God's truth. So,
correct.
Those are some of the thoughts that I had, just as you realize just how radical this movement is.
It's a cult.
Yeah, it is.
blind allegiance, regardless
Yes.
of the facts.
It is. It is. So, well, friends, we'll see you, Lord willing, next week at about this time, maybe earlier. So check us out on YouTube, on our Facebook page, Here I Stand, and leave us a comment. We'll talk to you soon. God bless, James.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.